We've got the government trying to force Optus to pay for people's new passports and threatening new laws. It's the political story that's dominated the week. Joining me live is Australian Financial Review political editor Phil Coorey for more on this. It's been a disaster for Optus, I think that's fair to say. I guess from here it's how the federal government sort of handles things. On the one hand, the passport issue, I get why they're trying to sort of force Optus's hand, and I'm sure they'll pay for some of them. But part of it is it 10,000 they're paying for, or 2.8 million, because we've already got this huge backlog of passports.
I know. I know. It's a wait of months now. The Channel 7 had a story the other night, 15,000 applications a day.
Yeah.
So I suspect probably that once everyone sort of settles a bit, it might be an idea just to replace the passports, the details of which have been leaked, rather than I don't know if every Optus customer has put their passport number on the account, but you can't blame people. You know, I mean, identity theft and that is rampant at the moment, and the level of anxiety this has caused is just a whole new level, a whole new threshold. So 40% of the population, potentially, Tom.
So part of the blame game is not just between Optus and the federal government, but Labor saying, well, all these laws, data retention laws, privacy laws, we weren't strong enough on this, and they're blaming the coalition. The big focus before, going back for a long time really, was let's get these companies keeping records and get criminals and organised crime and terrorists, but keeping records for a long time has its own danger.
Well, and I like that line Mark Dreyfus, the Attorney General, used this morning. We've got to start seeing data retention as a liability rather than an asset now. So it's a complete change of mindset. I mean, I've got a member of my family who ditched their Optus account 3 years ago, and they've just got an email from Optus saying, sorry, you've been compromised. I mean, it's just ludicrous.
Some could go back more than that even.
Yeah, now they've got to sit there worrying for the next few months whether, their identity's been thieved. So I think clearly there's a case, that they shouldn't, no one should be holding anyone's data who has no business.
Which is what the experts say. How could it not be properly encrypted?
Well, at least, but I think there's no reason at all to hold it if you're not doing any business with that company. They're not a data collection agency. Yeah. So, I think it's a really good wake-up call.
National Anti-Corruption Commission, we know what's taken shape. The big debate seems to be around these public hearings. It looks like the Coalition and Labor will do a deal, we think.
Oh, well, it's there if they want it. I mean, Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton everyone agrees with everything about this commission except the threshold for when you have a public hearing, but the Liberal Party is in lockstep with Labor on that, and so if the Teals and the Greens want to jump up and down, they can, but the numbers are now there to pass this thing as proposed. What the government has to be wary about is, the Teals may be numerically insignificant, but they can still, influence public opinion, and you don't want them running around saying this is too weak. So that's the task over the next couple of months. The government has to nuance that. I mean, and as Mark Dreyfus said this morning, if everyone in the parliament supports it, that is ideal in terms of confidence. Maybe
there's some tweaking around that word. It's not just exceptional circumstances that are in there, because also it needs to consider things such as vulnerability of a person
security,
and so on. So you could have a whole lot of caveats without that extra threshold, I suppose. It's worth noting the Liberal Party already compromised, right? They wanted no public hearings.
No retrospectivity.
No retrospectivity. They wanted
no public referrals.
No ability to just say there's corruption. All you could do was refer it on if it was.
They've come a long way. They've come a huge way. And look, and I think from an objective point of view, the Teals should probably claim victory too. I mean, as John Howard said, 80% of something's better than 100% of nothing. Well, they've got a lot more than 80%. They're close to about 99%. So, I think the world won't end if this thing gets legislated in its current form.
I think the Greens even initially backed.
They're never happy. They're never happy.
A long time ago, but no. Okay, all right. Budget last of all. For all the talk of it, an improved budget bottom line, I'm still just interested in the structural budget deficit and how it gets fixed, considering it's only going to get worse. NDIS spending's getting bigger. Defence, huge. Income tax cuts coming in. So is Labor? Do you think Labor or the opposition will take to the next election a path to genuine surplus budget?
Well, I don't have to be a surplus, but
balanced.
But Labor definitely. I mean, Jim Chalmers has been saying this since June that the next 3 or 4 budgets is part of a softening up exercise for some what he says are hard choices to be put to the people at the next election. So other than franking credits, because that's sort of got a work choices smell about it, I reckon everything's back on the table in terms of taxes going, and you've got the Reserve Bank Governor and the head of Treasury cheering you on, saying you've got to do this stuff. So it's about whether they can build the case. I don't see the coalition.
National conversation, keep hearing that we need.
Let's lean, I don't see the opposition going there. I think they see an opportunity here to paint Labor as high taxing and big spending, so to get that old battle line going again. But we'll see what they do. The only point I make, Tom, is that if you are going to ask people to do this, then it is incumbent on you to do your own part in lowering those structural deficits. And the NDIS is headed towards more than 60 billion a year by the end of this decade. Now, we were told it would cost 25 max. So now, it won't come in at that cheap, but the thing has been poorly designed. There's people on it who shouldn't be on it. It's being rorted, it's over-servicing. The thing is riddled with problems. And it's becoming like a national welfare scheme rather than a national disability insurance scheme. And so it's incumbent on the government.
And there's lots of areas. They even need to figure out the states have basically transferred some of their costs onto it.
Well, they do, but the Commonwealth is liable for all. They went into a 50-50 deal, but the Commonwealth is liable for all the increase beyond that, right? So it falls on the federal taxpayer the more this thing blows out. But the point is, you do your job and we'll do ours. But I think it's unfair to ask people to accept hard choices if you're not making hard decisions yourself. And if he wants to build support for whatever he's going to take to the next election, then he's got to show they're doing their bit as well.
Free advice. I'm sure Jim Chalmers is watching.
Oh, mate, that's all he does.
Bill Coorey, thank you.